discipline, the ultimate power of the military. While it is thought that 7,000 Greek soldiers also accompanied King Leonidas, many of those soldiers were thought to have fled while the Spartans remained behind to fight to the death against a vastly larger Persian army for 3 days. Let's take a minute to ponder just how strong and serious the Spartan warriors had to be to hold off thousands of Persian soldiers for 3 days. That really depends on how much courage they have during sparring training, especially in continuous boxing matches without thinking to stop and even shed blood. In boxing fights, Spartan warriors are trained in courage, steadfastness, sometimes a little recklessness, and especially discipline. To further discipline them, they were ordered, when in public, to hide their hands under their cloak, walk silently, and keep their eyes fixed on the ground. My favorite Spartan story is when a Spartan warrior saw what he thought was a ghost, and instead of being afraid, he chased it down, screaming, "Why do you flee? You who are about to die twice." It's so unbelievable. In fact, dying in battle was the most respectful way one could die. These soldiers were loyal to the state and military above all else. The harsh conditions of training served a purpose. Spartan soldiers were expected to withstand fatigue, hunger, and discomfort. Through relentless exposure to adversity, they emerged as soldiers hardened by life's trials, ready to face the brutalities of war. Competitiveness and camaraderie. Lycurgus, the legendary lawgiver of Sparta, especially focused on bringing out their sense of competitiveness and teamwork, for he believed this was the best way to have the men push themselves to the limit of their abilities. Spartan trainees compete fiercely among themselves, spurring each other to greater heights. In addition to foot races and boxing, their sports included a particularly brutal contest in which 2 teams would try to drive each other off an island by pushing, kicking, biting, and gouging their opponents. However, this competitiveness was balanced by a deep sense of camaraderie. This is probably best practiced by boxing matches. Spartans formed strong bonds with their fellow sparring, knowing that they would depend on one another in the heat of the boxing fights. Additionally, Spartan youths learn how to poke fun at their peers and that he'd be able to accept the teasing of himself in each boxing fight. This emotional outburst and restraint would help Spartan soldiers stay more alert in unexpected situations on the battlefield. A Spartan soldier would be comprehensively trained in physical strength, diet, and physical and mental endurance. The perfection of each soldier will create perfection for the entire army. The role of Spartan women. Don't worry, ladies. Spartan women were important to the community as well. They were encouraged to be physically fit and strong, understanding that they were the mothers and wives of warriors. Besides, they were encouraged to exercise to ensure they would birth strong children. Since they weren't in battle, they didn't need to train like the young Spartan warriors. Instead, the Spartan women managed the village and were taught practical things like how to own and manage the property. They practiced javelin throwing, wrestling, singing, and dancing to be more attractive to the Spartan warriors. They left the homemaking skills to the lower-class helots, slaves of the state. Strong Spartan mothers raised strong Spartan warriors, and their influence was profound. The Spartans were not artisans, potters, or sculptors. They were professional soldiers, through and through. And the Spartan soldier was not merely a product of training. He was the embodiment of an ideal combat sport. Boxing sculpted men of unparalleled discipline, physical prowess, and mental fortitude. They were expected to never retreat, nor surrender, And to them, a glorious life was one in which you died in battle victoriously. Yet they mostly fought for the preservation of their state rather than expansion. It was this discipline and order that made the Spartans the most powerful military force in Greece, rivaling the Macedonians under Philip II and Alexander the Great. It was one of the reasons they remained independent from Alexander's empire, while the rest of Greece did not. Even the Romans allied with Sparta during the Punic and Macedonian Wars, until the end of the Roman conquest of Greece in 146 BCE.
We are on a project to restore humanity's heroic history. Please support us by clicking subscribe to our free channel.